It will start from the body, mind and intellect, and the objects related to body, mind and intellect. So, they being unreal, however, it appears as if it is real when they are sensed, perceived through this body, mind and intellect. And then we identify with it, and then we think this is what we are. And that kind of thinking into which we are trapped, and we are trapped in like this for time immemorial, birth after birth. Om Namo Baghavathe Shri Ramanaya. Hari Om. Glad to be here again, reflecting aloud in this Ramana's Atma Vichara series. And today we are going to take a very powerful sloka from Bhagavat Gita and try to relate it to Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's teaching. The sloka concerned is in the chapter called Jnana Vijnana Yoga, chapter 7, sloka number 14. And the sloka goes as Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. Here Bhagavan says Daivi, divine, Maya, this divine Maya which is made up of Gunas, Gunamayi. So my divine Maya, which is made up of Gunas, Trigunas basically, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, is very difficult to cross. Those who take refuge unto me, they cross this Maya. Mameva prapadyante Maya metam tarantite. So those who take refuge unto me, they cross this Maya. So here, let's try to understand a little about what this sloka is trying to say, and then they will relate it to Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's teaching. So here, these Trigunas and the Maya delusion or illusion, divine illusion, is actually the reality perceived through our senses, mind and intellect is unreal, but it appears to be real. And we sense through our senses, and we also perceive through our mind and intellect objects which could be of tamasic guna or Rajasic or Sattvic Guna. We lend reality to it. They appear so real, and then we identify with I thought and my thought with regard to these objects. It will start from the body, mind and intellect, and the objects related to body, mind and intellect. So, they being unreal, however, it appears as if it is real when they are sensed, perceived through this body, mind and intellect. And then we identify with it, and then we think this is what we are. So we are limited to this body, limited to this person, and I am living in this world which is huge, which is very big. So this sense of limitation, being so small, etc. And that kind of thinking into which we are trapped. And we are trapped in like this for time immemorial, birth after birth. And it's hard to cross as long as we keep on holding on to these thoughts. We keep on lending reality to that which is unreal, and that is what is called illusion. So, Bhagavan says, it's hard to cross. Why? Because we are holding on to them. And we are trying to use the senses, we are trying to use the mind, we are trying to use the intellect to come out of it. That's not possible. That's why Bhagavan says, instead of getting caught in that, instead of getting trapped into that, those who take refuge unto me, meaning the self, the infinite self, instead of holding on to the finite and regarding the finite as real and identifying with the finite, Bhagavan says, those who take refuge unto me, the self, the infinite. So then hold on to the infinite. That's what it is meant by taking refuge unto. So hold on to try to hold on to the infinite and identify with the infinite. And in doing so, then you can transcend the notions of the finiteness. I am a finite entity, etc. So, Maya, which is lending reality to unreal, regarding the finite as infinite, that illusion is transcended by identifying with the infinite self, holding on to the infinite self and letting go of the notion that we are a finite entity, letting go of the habit of lending reality to that which is unreal. And Bhagavan says, Mameva prapadyante, that is, by taking refuge unto me, Maya meta, this Maya, tarantite, they cross, they transcend this Maya, then transcend this divine illusion, that which we regard as real, by holding on to the real. This is what, in short, what Bhagavan is trying to say in this sloka. And how do we relate this with Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's teaching? Is that it's a very simple process, because it's Bhagavan who has made it so simple. Whatever thought, the thought of attachment, thought of anger, thought of worry, even thought of doubts, anything, you go to Bhagavan with those thoughts and you ask Bhagavan, and Bhagavan says, Bhagavan never tries to resolve those things. He says, what he says is, just ask the question, to whom this thought, to whom this worry is, to whom this anger is, So when you ask that question, what really happens is, instead of identifying with the thought, which could be of worry, which could be of attachment, which could be of anger, which could be of fear, so instead of identifying with the thought and the content of the thought, which is always referring to the finite world, which is defined as divine illusion by Bhagavan. So instead of identifying with that, Bhagavan Ramana says, just ask the question, to whom is this? That whom is this is referring to the infinite self. So he is asking us to turn our attention away from this world, which is made up of objects. They could be gross, they could be subtle. Turning our attention away from unreal and shifting our attention to that which is real by asking this question, to whom these thoughts, and not to get caught up in the thoughts, not to get caught up in the world, but asking the question, to whom this is, and turning the attention towards the witness, the knower, the infinite self. And by doing that, one transcends those thoughts. So how the thoughts are transcended is not by getting caught up in the thoughts, not by dissecting the thoughts, not by trying to resolve it with the thoughts, but by shifting the attention away from the thoughts, shifting the attention away from the finite to the infinite. So this is what Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi wanted us to do. Turn the attention away from these thoughts and ask the question, to whom this thought is. That is referring to that infinite self. So turn the attention towards the infinite self, which is the witness, which is our true self. So that's what Bhagavan Shri Krishna also is teaching us in a different, using different terminology, where he says, Mameva prapadyante, taking refuge unto me. So taking refuge unto the infinite self. Not by taking refuge unto the divine illusion, unreal, finite. Letting go of them. And how do you let go of them? But by holding on to the infinite self. Then you can transcend all your finite notions. That's what is meant by crossing the Maya. Crossing the illusion is by transcending the thoughts which are lending reality to that which is unreal. Transcending the thoughts which is identifying myself with them, resulting in I thoughts and my thoughts. So all of these thoughts are transcended by this approach, and that is what is referred to in Bhagavat Gita as crossing the Maya. Om Namo Baghavathe Shri Ramanaya.